Hey, folks, it's Mark Arum. I hope you're enjoying the Mark Arum Show podcast. A reminder, you can hear this very radio show live Monday through Friday. We're live 6 to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Industrial Triple Team traffic continues every 6 minutes with Mark Arum. I'm Doug Turnbull on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Happy Friday, everybody. Stay dry, stay safe, and have fun this Friday Eve. That's our job, the having fun part. Mark Arum and gang with you till 8 in the p.m. We've got a really fun show. Comedian John Heffron's going to join us in studio. Loti and I are going to play a little time zone trivia. We'll see if my time zone acumen has gotten better. Michael Seiden from Channel 2 is going to join us. So a guy I know a couple weeks ago was killed, and they charged the guy that was involved with murder. Yeah, and it's a prominent Atlanta attorney. So it's like a personal story for me because I know the victim personally. I knew the guy. Yeah. And now they're charging the guy with murder. So Michael Seiden's going to break that down for us in the second hour of the show. But I want to start off with, you guys are, well, I'm friends with you two on Facebook, not with Deb Green, but that's understandable. Deb eschews me outside of work, which I get totally, Deb Green.
I'm honestly not on Facebook except for the river.
I just like busting chops. So on Facebook, I guess up north now, all the kids are going back to school, including the college kids, which I think they've been in tech's been back for a while now. So I've got friends that I went to high school and college with that have kids starting college, like starting their freshman year of college. And it's like, oh, I don't even have a kid yet, you know? One of my
still trying to adult.
Yeah, one of my high school friends is a grandmother twice over. Same age as me.
Holy moly.
I know. And I'm like, oh, I have 2 dogs, you know? But it's like really hitting home that like my friends, my contemporaries have college-age kids. And it was like, oh, let me just like the post. But like, holy smokes, you have a college kid? You're still a college kid to me. You know, Ralph Malozzi. Opie's got a girl going to college? That's nuts. He wasn't responsible to take care of himself, let alone anyway. So I was just going down this memory lane, and my college, I'm an alumnus of Marist College in New York, and I forgot they do this thing every year where they profile the incoming freshman class. And they release this. So Marist College is famous for the Marist poll, political polls, et cetera, et cetera. But they do this thing every year where they go in-depth on the freshman class just to show you what lives these 18-year-olds have lived so far. And they put out 60, lists. It's called the Mindset List. What's the mindset of a college freshman this year?
Oh, Lord.
And it's applicable to me now because I have friends that are now college freshmen. So I'm just going to read a couple of these. This is interesting. So this is the mindset of a college freshman this year. Number 1, like Pearl Harbor for their grandparents and the Kennedy assassination for their parents, 9/11 is a historical event. So freshmen in college this year, 9/11 to them is like the Vietnam War or the Korean War was to us.
Yeah, so my niece starts college next week, and it's exactly what she thinks of it. Like she was not even 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's so long ago to her.
It's a historical event.
So weird.
It's the moon landing for us.
Yeah.
9/11. And 9/11 seems, I can't believe it's been that long.
I know.
It seems literally like yesterday. So the freshmen in college this year, 9/11 is a historical event to them. They have no recollection of that. The primary use of your phone for freshmen has always been to take pictures.
Seriously?
So a phone to them is primarily a picture-taking device.
Which is also known as a camera.
Exactly. It's a camera. Yeah, exactly.
Do they even know what that is?
Again, my niece, right?
Yeah.
She did not know how to find the keypad. Because we were like, well, call whoever, and she stared at it blankly. She knows how to text people, but she's like, well, where's the keypad? She had to try to find the keypad because she's never dialed anything before.
There was a great video on Facebook or YouTube where they had like a couple of teenagers. The dad put down a rotary dial phone.
I saw that.
Amazing.
That was one of the best videos.
But to them, the smartphone, the number one purpose of the smartphone is not to call, not to text, it's to take pictures. What did you call it, Longoria? A camera.
Yeah.
A camera, yes. For them, for incoming freshmen, the nation's mantra has always been, if you see something, say something. They've always been alive That's been around for their whole lives. See something, say something. The big tech for Apple, Facebook, Amazon, and Google are to them what the big three automakers were to their grandparents.
Sure.
So Ford, Chevy, whatever. That's
Dodge, yeah.
The big three for them are Apple, Google, Facebook, Amazon. It's the big four. Here's an interesting one. Nearly half of their generation, again, college freshmen right now, is composed of people of color. That generation, half of them are people of color. That's a stark demographic shift right there.
Would it be because more are mixing together than you're...
Exactly. For college freshmen, Oklahoma City has always had a national memorial at its center. Their whole life has been post Oklahoma City bombing. Listen to this. College freshmen right now have always had to take their shoes off going through security at the airport.
That's crazy because I remember not having to do that.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm going to add to this, they've never been able to just go to the gate and meet somebody. Remember back in the day?
Oh, yeah.
When you come home, you'd fly home, and your parents would wait for you at the gate. And be like, oh, come give me your...
You went through the half-ass metal detector. No one really cared what you brought in.
Exactly.
Just let you through all the way to the gate.
Like, oh, what do you got, a grenade launcher? Yeah, fine. You're good.
They make you set it in the tray and then go through, and then they give it back to you on the other side.
Freshmen have always had to take their shoes off in security.
That's sad.
Does it seem like a more recent development?
It seems super recent. Yeah. The shoe bomber seems like it happened
a long time ago.
Just a few years ago.
I've got some more of these. The mindset of a college freshman in 2019. Here's something interesting, and it's interesting to me because Nova just did this whole documentary series on the planets. They went from like Venus and Mars, Venus and Mercury, and then Mars, and then Jupiter. It's really interesting stuff. For a freshman this year, there's always been something on Mars. There's always been something that's landed. We've always had something on Mars.
Gotcha.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's insane to me. Do you remember how big deal it was when the rover thing landed?
Right.
Unbelievable. As they crawled on the floor, these are freshmen this year in college, that's when TV headlines began crawling at the bottom of the TV screen.
Oh, the little crawl on the bottom.
Little TV crawl. So it's basically...
I don't even remember when that happened. It just
9/11.
Just happened. Oh, wow.
It was 9/11 was when that happened.
I think CNN was the only one that ever had a crawl, but nobody paid attention to it.
I don't even think they had one before then.
They might not have.
Yeah, I think that all started... Like, Bloomberg had stuff.
Yeah, Bloomberg had all kinds of things going on.
Yeah, they had it. It was like a clown show on there. We were like, what's going on? But I think 9/11, because there was so much news that they were like, how are we going to do this? And then all the news started putting the crawl on there. Pink slime has always been a food additive for freshmen in college. Here's an interesting one. Only 2/3 of college freshmen this year identify themselves as exclusively heterosexual.
What?
Just 2/3. I don't know. Look,
I don't even know what to add to that.
I agree. I actually agree with the statistic. If you just look at our work environment, I think it might be a little high, a little low rather, whatever, but 2/3 just exclusively heterosexual. As things become more open.
Right, I was going to say more people are talking, more people are telling you about it, but it may have been hidden back in the day.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think more people are free to say it, and good for them. That's awesome. YouTube has become the video version of Wikipedia for them. Again, these are inside the mind of a freshman. There's always been an American Taliban. That's weird. Troy Aikman has always been a football commentator, not a football player. Troy Aikman. They don't know him as a football player.
They don't know his 20 concussions.
No, exactly. They only know him as a commentator. Inside the mind of a freshman at Marist College, it's always been illegal to use a handheld cell phone while driving in New York State through their whole lives.
I can see that.
That's a good one. Alex Trebek on Jeopardy has never had a mustache in their life.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Exactly. They've always been concerned, freshmen this year in college have always been concerned about catching the West Nile virus. Freshmen this year have always had smartwatches. Freshmen this year, the Pittsburgh Steelers and Pirates, since they've been alive, have never played at Three River Stadium, which is where we grew up watching the Pirates and the Steelers play. Cal Ripken has been retired their whole lives.
That's nuts.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Jr. has
that
always
is crazy.
And here's one as we go to break, just to bring it back for entertainment purposes. Monica and Chandler have always been married on Friends.
Oh, for crying out loud.
They've always been married. Inside the mindset of a college freshman. You feel old now, folks? I certainly do. We'll come back. 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB-TALK on Twitter and Instagram at Mark or Arum. We're going to have a fun show tonight. It's Friday. Let's kick back, relax, and enjoy on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. $80 degrees on Peachtree Street. I'm very happy, Longoria. We're going to call this puppy 5 on the Mark Arum Show back.
Wow, it hasn't been that low in a while.
I know. Well, it was hot earlier, and then the rain shower came, and it cooled things off, so good news there. Inside the mindset of a college freshman, making everybody feel old on the Mark Arum Show. Joe joins us in Atlanta. Joe, welcome to the program.
Hey, Mark. How are you?
What's going on, Joe?
Hey, well, you opened up with saying that all your friends are have kids who are entering college or even grandparents, and I just wanted you not to feel so badly about not having had kids yet. My dad was 65 when I was born, and that's, pretty old.
Sure, but, sure. I didn't mean to say I felt bad. Hold on a second, Joe. I don't feel bad because I'm 45 and I'm not ready to have a kid yet. I haven't had one yet because I'm not ready to take care of one. When that happens, maybe I'll have one, yeah.
Well, here's the other really cool part about him is that he was born in 1897.
Oh, my goodness.
Right. So, that... to be, of course, he passed away when I was, when I was younger.
All right, so I can have a kid up till 65. That's what she's saying.
65?
65. Chris is up next on the Mark Arum Show. Hello, Chris.
Hey, I got three examples that the 18, 17, 18-year-olds
Real quick, buddy.
All right, so they would have never seen Michael Jordan play for the Bulls.
Oh, wow, yeah.
The only president, the first president they can recall is George Bush Jr.
Oh, my goodness, yeah. And the third one?
The third one...
They've always lived... Oh, here's one. They've always lived in a world where there's been a Mark Arum Show. How about that, Longoria?
That's great.
They've always lived in a world where there's been a Mark Arum Show. Mark Arum's always done their traffic in mornings. It makes me feel a little better. Michael Seiden from Channel 2 coming up next. This is the Mark Arum Show.
The Mark Arum Show, brought to you by Engineered Solutions of Georgia.
Hi, this is Louis Gossett Jr. This is the Mark Arum Show. And if you have any common sense, you should listen to the Mark Arum Show.
Welcome back to the show. Happy Friday, one and all. Mark Arum and the Banana is going to keep you entertained for your ride home till 8 in the p.m. Don't forget, you can still register Deb Green. Well, not Deb Green, but you listening in your car can register for free gas. Just go to WSBradio.com or register on the WSB Radio app and listen for your name at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., 4 and 5 p.m. Did we give any gas away during the Erickson extravaganza today, Low T Chuck? You don't know? No one called? So we're going to have more? We're going to have more on Monday then?
Yeah.
Wow. Scott Slade's going to be
starting at 600.
Scott Slade's going to be making it rain on Monday. So make sure you register WSBradio.com. John Heffron and Brittany Tannenbaum from Accessatl is still to come on the show. Not to bring you down, but an acquaintance of mine was killed a couple of weeks ago. And it was under mysterious circumstances. And fast forward to yesterday or 2 days ago, I believe, the suspect in his death was charged with murder. And not only mentioned in this case because I knew the victim, but because it's a really interesting situation. Covering the story for Channel 2 Action News and joining us on the program, Michael Seiden. Mike, welcome to the program. How are you, sir?
Mark, thanks a lot. Appreciate you bringing me on. I wish it was under better circumstances, but always great to catch up with you.
Likewise. So Michael's been covering the story for Channel 2. Again, a guy I know was struck and killed by a vehicle, and it just seemed like a weird story. And eventually, just a couple of days ago, Sandy Springs Police, Michael, charged the suspect with, among other things, murder. What can you tell the folks about this case?
Yeah, at the beginning of your program, Mark, I heard you say that you had a personal connection. I didn't know the victim, Hamid Jahandar, personally, but, I grew up in East Cobb, so I actually went to high school with his daughters. They were younger than I was, but, what I heard is right when this thing broke, and this was at the end of last month, there were just tons of stories going around that this was some type of road rage incident. Of course, we reached out to the Sandy Springs Police Department, but they released very few details. And yesterday, actually, on WSB-TV.com, we broke a story. We got our hands on a criminal complaint. And basically, the complaint broke down all the details of this road rage incident. What happened is that I believe it was the evening of July 30th, Hamid, who is known as a very prominent real estate investor, was checking out one of his investment properties in this little subdivision in Sandy Springs. I guess he was meeting painters at the house, and at some point the painters got lost, so he walked down the street to try to find them. And at some point, this is when this deadly encounter took place. A lot of the details, the very grisly details coming out, but it appears this was all over a golf ball.
Yeah, I read the police report, and according to the suspect's name, what's the suspect's name again, Michael?
Yeah, it's Brian Schmidt, he's actually a lawyer in Atlanta. He practices law, works for a firm, and he was headed home to his Sandy Springs house about 2 miles away when this all went down.
So Schmidt alleges that Hamid, the man I know or knew, threw a golf ball at his car, turned around to confront Hamid about throwing a golf ball at his car, and he said Hamid then threw a garbage can toward his car. He swerved to miss the garbage can and ran over Hamid, but it turns out video evidence has surfaced, and his story doesn't jive with what the video shows.
Right. So what happened was in the days that followed this investigation, there was a couple homes in the area that had home surveillance video. Also, there was a guy working for an AC company who actually had dash cam video. And so they were able to obtain that surveillance, and it told a completely different story, really. The main thing that came out of that video was that he essentially waited about 25 seconds and then floored it into the driveway. That's what police said, according to this criminal complaint. So this whole narrative that the suspect had about him crashing into a garbage can that then actually hit Hamid, that just wasn't the case, according to this criminal complaint.
And through the investigation so far, this wasn't, these two gentlemen, Hamid and Mr. Schmidt, didn't know each other prior to this. There was no, there's no backstory to this. This was just, this guy was driving through this neighborhood. He alleges that the victim threw a golf ball at his car, turned around, ran over him, and killed him. And that's where we get the murder charge from, because his story didn't jive with what the evidence is showing. Right, Michael?
Right, absolutely no connection. These two men didn't know each other. It's interesting. In that criminal complaint, Hamid's brother says that he was on the phone with Hamid when this all happened. All of a sudden, he heard his brother say twice, I didn't throw it, get out of my face, and then the line went dead. Another interesting thing that we found out with these new court documents is that when Sandy Springs police went over to the house of the suspect, Brian Schmidt, to interview him, they actually found Hamid's phone had been lodged in one of the windshield wipers.
Unbelievable.
So just crazy.
Michael Seiden from Channel 2 joins us. So the suspect turned himself in to the authorities. What's the next process in this case, Michael?
Right. So next week, I believe Tuesday, he is going to appear in front of a judge. He hired a pretty big-time criminal defense attorney, Don Samuels. They're going to be asking for a bond. They're going to make their case and try to present evidence and see if the judge will release him on bond. I know history says it's very rare that you see anybody get out when they are facing such serious charges as murder and aggravated assault like Mr. Schmidt's facing, but we'll see what happens. He's got quite the legal team. But, just one other note, as we mentioned, if you're somebody from Atlanta like myself, so many connections, and there's just been a lot of people in the community who have been impacted by this tragedy. So we're expecting a lot of family and friends of Hamid to be packing that courtroom in Fulton County next week.
Just a horrible, horrible story. And take away the fact that I actually knew this guy. The road rage possibility of is just an awful story. Michael, thanks for giving us the details on it, sir.
No problem, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Take care. Have a great weekend. 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB-TALK. I read the police report. I've never read a huge police report like that. It was like 55 pages. I'm going to show you what it looks like. It's crazy. Not you, the listener, but Chuck and Longoria, Deb, maybe. But like every part of that investigation, like the evidence scene, they're like, I put on a new pair of gloves, and then I did this, and then I put on a new pair of crazy stuff, like real life CSI kind of stuff. 404-872-0750. Back after this on the Mark Arum Show. Welcome back to the show. 8:30. No, it's 83 degrees. One of these is the thermometer, Mark. One of these is the
time
clock. We call those a clock. Can you live how tired I am?
Camera?
Yeah, I was just going to say it's clearly Friday.
My blood sugar is low.
It's dropping.
I was planning on getting Chinese food for dinner tonight, but with these tariffs,
it's too expensive.
So
the cheapest food you could buy.
Listen,
it's too expensive.
I'm
now.
patriotic. I'll back the Chinese tariffs as long as this doesn't impact my Chinese food.
Yeah.
Do we know? You're our political expert, Chuck.
I'll know more on Monday.
Am I going to pay more for wonton soup?
I'll know more on Monday.
All right.
I would brace yourself.
That's when you can question my loyalty, President Trump. When I start paying more for pork fried rice, that's when my loyalty can be questioned. And I mentioned this to Von Hessler this morning. You know, the Denmark little brouhaha?
Oh, yeah.
Don't mess with my Danish butter cookies, President Trump.
Man.
Like, if I don't get those this Christmas.
International foods here are a big thing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So
you know what's cheap right now? Enchiladas.
Once they build the wall, though, those enchiladas are going to be tough to come by. What I should do right now is jump on Amazon and get like 2 cases of, I mean, not just those blue tins, cases of those Danish butter cookies.
I love those.
They're so good. Every Christmas I go home and there's like a stack of them in my dad's office. I'm like, yes. He goes, no, those are gifts. I'm sending those to people. I love those days. So listen, President Trump, do what you got to do. I'm loyal to America to a point. When it impacts my Danish butter cookies or my General Tso's chicken, that's when I push back on the tariffs and all that stuff. But hopefully it's not going to.
I think we'll be okay.
All right, but you're going to update us on
I'll let
Monday.
you know more on Monday.
All right.
I'll have a wonton update for you.
I don't think New Dragon Chinese, let me give them a plug, on Collier Road. I don't think they're importing goods from China.
I don't think so.
Like I think it's all American grown Chinese food. So it shouldn't be impacted by the tariffs. But the Danish butter cookies, they've got to be imported, right? Yeah. But I don't think there's any tariffs yet on the Danes. You never know. Who knows? Just don't.
Again, wait till Monday.
Yeah. All right. Chuck's going to have an update. Remind me, Longoria. Chuck's going to update.
Tariff update.
The tariff update with low T, Chuck.
I love it.
Kind of like the crop report.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm doing the ag report.
Yeah, the ag report with low T and the tariff report. All right. When we come back, comedian John Heffron's in studio. Brittany Tannenbaum from Accessatl. And then I'm going to go heads up with low T with a little time zone trivia on Twitter and Instagram at Mark Arum, Facebook Mark Arum WSB. What do you know? This is the Mark Arum Show.
The Mark Arum Show is performed before a live studio audience.
No, I want this town to be near you. I stand
Welcome back. Friday edition of the Mark Arum Show with you Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 p.m. on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Don't forget, we're giving away free gas again next week. You can register online at WSBradio.com or the WSB Radio app and then listen for your name at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., 4 p.m., and 5 p.m. You can win, up to $1,000 in free gasoline courtesy of us here at WSB. Joining us in studio, longtime friend of the show. He's at the Punchline tonight and tomorrow. Comedian John Heffron. John, how are you, my friend?
I am doing wonderful, sir. Thank you. And I'm looking around the studio. Here's what I like so far.
Yeah.
I maybe it's somewhere that we're on radio with each other. We're talking.
Yep.
And we're doing what radio people do. Here's what I like. There's no cameras. We're not Facebook living anything. We're not Instagram streaming anything. You're not tweeting as I'm talking to you. You're not TikToking it or whatever.
Yeah, it's
kind of old. It's kind of like old school what you're doing right here.
It's a personal thing. So I don't know if you heard the first hour of the show, but so my alma mater, Marist College, puts out this list every year that's like that highlights or profiles the freshman class. And I don't know how you feel about getting old like we are, but so like the 18-year-olds, they put out this list of 18-year-olds. This is their life. They've never not known a pre-9/11 world. They've never not known their phones, for example. Their phones have always been primarily used as a camera more than anything else. So it's just a nice little look into where the future is, and freshmen in college this year have this different perspective. And it reminded me of something you used to talk about, that there was a time back when you were in your car driving around the radio wouldn't tell you what song was playing.
Right. Well, I mean, if you even go back to, let's say, when we were in college back in, 1776?
About then,
Weren't they, after we fought in the war? I remember going to work where, I wouldn't have a watch on because you're a kid. You don't wear a watch then, or you didn't have a cell phone. And I had nothing digital in my car. So this sounds archaic, but you would drive and you wouldn't know what time it was. You would literally, if you worked early morning like a landscaping job, you would use the sun to determine if you were late or not for work.
Absolutely.
You go, it seems lighter out than normal. Yeah. There's no way I'm not. Or you had to drive by a bank. That was it. That's the only place where you saw digital, and that was only that short. You tell a kid now, back in my day, we didn't know what time it was because there was nothing. They're like, what are you talking about?
If you didn't have a watch, you didn't know what time it was. You really didn't. If you were...
Well, that's why radio stations back in the day were always would do the double talk, 8, 7, 15, 15 after 7, 45 minutes to 8 o'clock. So they were constantly giving you the time because you would know. But now you're like, or I look at my dashboard and it's telling me everything. And it's telling me what song is on. Because I remember when I was a teenager, you'd hear a song and you would have to call the radio station.
Yeah, what did you just play?
What did you just play? And then you'd have the sheet. And then, hold on, what was it? That was Mr. Kyrie. Kyrie on the road.
That's amazing.
Yeah, then you'd have to hear that song. And again, you wouldn't know the artist or whatever because everything was new. And then you'd have to drive to the mall because that's where we used to keep music for those. I don't know if you have younger people listening, but now when you drive by buildings where they say for lease, there used to be stuff inside of those.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you'd have to go up to the counter and then you would have to sing that song that you heard earlier that day to that random person in a members only jacket.
There was John Heffron's in studio, by the way, folks. He's at the Punchline tonight, tomorrow. Tickets online at punchline.com. There was a critical moment in my musical development when I'm talking cassette generation here.
Okay.
So I'd hear a song. Oh, what is that? That's Quiet Riot, Mental Health, or whatever.
Let's go.
And I like that song. But I didn't have the $10 or whatever to buy the full album. But I would walk into Caldor. I don't know if you had those in Michigan, Caldor. It was like the precursor to Walmart. It's like a Woolworths or whatever. And they had these things called cassette singles.
Oh, yeah.
And for like $1.99, I could get that song that I just heard on the radio. And it was game changer. I was like, oh, now I can play this song all the time.
Yeah, and it's funny too. Like the older you get, you look at younger people, and then if you're doing this, you have to stop complaining about the younger people and how they do things differently than you. Or some people are very like, the problem with these millennials. Listen, young kids, those 18-year-olds, grew up in a completely different world than you did. You can't use your barometer of how life was because things change.
Yeah.
That's what gets me crazy about people. Well, you know what? We need to make America how it used to be. What, when you're 12 and you had a BMX bike? That's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
When you didn't know what was going on.
But it happens every generation because I remember my mom, and I love my mom. She's awesome. But we were at a bar mitzvah.
Right.
And my mom was like, the 13-year-old girls are there invited. Yeah. And Mom was like, I cannot believe what she's wearing with this thing. That is disgraceful. And I'm thinking, I've seen pictures of my mom in the 70s. Yeah. I know her mom was saying the same thing, like, look at those bell-bottom jeans. They're so tight. It's just a cyclical thing.
It's the same. Yeah, our parents now, look at these girls. Really? Because you were dressed exactly like Madonna, and it was a thing.
Exactly.
So stop.
Exactly.
Like I think, if you're 20-something, if you're 18 to 20-something, you're supposed to bug people that are 50 plus. That's just the cycle of life,
Exactly.
right? So I was in whatever city I was in, Austin recently, and they had those little scooters you can rent.
The e-scooters,
right? They're annoying,
here,
right? And they're annoying, and the kids on them are 100% annoying. I will say that. However, I'm sure I annoyed people my age now when I was 19 and I came rollerblading past them. In my Spuds McKenzie shirt and my polo cologne. I was equally as annoying then as people are now.
That's, it's funny because e-scooters are a big deal here in Atlanta. We've had 4 people die on them.
Oh, yeah, they're horrible. I'm not saying they're not, but
it's like a huge issue here. And I'm glad you brought up the rollerblades. I'm like, because remember that, like people were up in arms, all these people rollerblading. When is the last time you saw someone rollerblade?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's just, I'm sure there was some kid in the 1800s who had a cup and a string and a ball, and that kid was trying to catch it. And then some guy from the 1700s was like, these kids with the cup and string and the ball, they don't even pay attention.
Unbelievable. John Heffron in studio on the Mark Arum Show. So I was watching a movie last night. I don't know if you ever saw it. Forget Paris with Billy Crystal. He was an NBA referee.
Maybe.
Anyway, it was a decent movie. I'm a big Billy Crystal fan. But it made me think of you. So he's an NBA referee. So he travels a lot like a stand-up comedian.
Right.
And he had routines with his fellow referees. So there's like a crew of 3 NBA refs.
Right.
And they'd go to Indianapolis and they'd go to a movie and then they'd go to dinner, blah, blah, blah. But then he meets this girl, and he wants to start going to museums now in every city. And his fellow ref's like, museum, we're going to the movies, and we're going to have dinner. What the hell are you talking about? Is there something you do? Because you're always on the road. You're in Atlanta, you're in Charlotte, you're in New Jersey. When you go to a city, do you actively look out to do stuff? Like, what do you do when you're not on stage?
I used to not. I used to just sit in my room. I'd do the show, go back to the room, find some horrible donut place, eat all night, and then sleep in and maybe go work out, then do the show.
Okay.
But I was also married for a chunk.
Yeah.
And now I'm no longer.
So you've got more.
So now I don't have the normal things that I do because I'm a free man to do whatever I want. So I'm trying to do more of that stuff. But then I do it. Like I'll go I'm going to go to the aquarium. And I'm so lazy that that's when I'm there.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, I could.
Well, that's why I think you have to have a thing. Like if you're traveling.
I don't know what my thing is. Like I'm trying to find a hobby. Like how do you find, this is a different thing. How do you find a hobby how do you like I literally got divorced, selling my house, deciding where I want to move. So I'm doing a hard reset just in life. And then now I'm like, okay, I can do anything I want now, but I can't figure out my hobby. Like, do I pick up nunchucks?
So do you know what I picked up? Because I went through the same thing.
Ukulele. I bought a ukulele. I'm like, should I learn that?
I got back into
crocheting.
Almost. Collecting baseball cards. So I was a big baseball card collector when I was like 12 or 13.
Right.
And then I got divorced and I need a hobby, blah, blah, blah. And I rediscovered baseball cards. And you know what's awesome now as an adult? I can buy whatever the hell I want.
You can. That's the thing.
I can buy whatever I want. So that's been my hobby now to keep me busy.
I need one. I don't even know how you find one at a certain,
Yeah. Well, what did you like when you were 13? Well,
you know what? When I was 13, I kind of actually looked back at that. I was like, do I buy a new Mongoose BMX bike?
Did you have one as a kid?
Yeah.
I had the crappy JCPenney bikes. I never had the Mongoose.
I'm like, do I ride? Like, I would like to have one of those days. I would like to get a BMX bike, ride around town, maybe go to like a 7-Eleven, get like a 2-liter Mountain Dew. This sounds horrible on my stomach, but let's just keep fantasizing. Yeah. I sit there, I drink the,
I would do it. I would go. You know what? I always had hand-me-down bikes from my cousins.
Yeah, so did I, yeah.
And I never had a good, cool bike. And like my neighbor down the street, I lived in a small town. He was
like a racer. There's always the one kid who's like
professional, like he has trophies and stuff.
Yeah.
And he would have like an $800 Mongoose or whatever it cost back in the 80s.
No, I had a Huffy. I had a Kmart one that weighed maybe 500-600 pounds. And then you pick up those Mongoose ones and you could lift it with one finger. My dad was a truck driver. We couldn't have. I think maybe I had a Geist. It was like just a knockoff or something, or I put stickers on it.
Do they still make those? Because I literally might buy one this weekend. I've never had a good bike.
I mentioned it, and some guy, this was like in wherever city it was, goes, I have one in my garage. My wife wants me, and it was this light blue and white. If you saw a picture of it, you'd be like, yeah, that's the one.
Absolutely.
And he wanted to trade for tickets to my show.
Done.
And he just never showed up.
Oh, no.
He kept sending me pictures of the bike. I'm like, who teases? This is like the second time in my life where I thought I was going to get a Mongoose. I remember my parents kept saying, I'm going to get a bike. And then when I got it, it was a 10-speed.
Yeah.
With the handlebars that did that weird.
I never owned a 10-speed.
No. And I'm like, I wanted a Mongoose.
With the big knobby tires, you can go off-roading.
But is it weird, though, somebody, let's say, my age.
Yeah.
I'm 49.
Okay.
Riding on a BMX bike.
You know what?
And I'm also single too, so like then
you're fine.
Now I have
I think we could be ahead of the curve because we can't be the only
cutoffs with socks up to my knees.
You've got actually a shirt. I was just about to say the old three-quarter baseball.
I just got to get a random number on it that makes no sense. Not even a sports team affiliate.
I guarantee you, this is going to become a thing. People, kids, guys our age that didn't experience the awesome, cool bikes in our childhood. Now buy them, and we're going to have adult-only kind of like tracks around town. So we feel welcome. There's not going to be like kids driving around. It'll just be us.
What I would like to do, I don't know if I want to take any big jumps or anything like that, because who knows if I have insurance. I would like to do this move where I used to ride the bike and then kind of get off before you're done and then throw it down. And then jump.
The stunt move.
Because you never use kickstands.
The stunt move.
Yeah, where you kind of jumped off of it and go.
I like it. All right, we'll work on that during the break. Hang out one more segment.
Perfect.
All right, John Heffron's in studio. Great comedian. He's at the Punchline tonight and tomorrow. Get your tickets now, people. Punchline.com or bring a BMX bike and
if you want to you got an old BMX bike.
Tell the bouncer, be like, no, he seriously said if I brought a bike I can get in. All right, hang tight, we'll be right back. This is the Mark Arum Show.
Mark Arum on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Welcome back. Friday edition of the Mark Arum Show. Coming up in just a little bit, Brittany Tannenbaum from Accessatl is going to tell us what is hot and popping in Metro Atlanta this weekend. Nothing hotter or popping more than comedian John Heffron. He is at the Punchline tonight and tomorrow. Tickets online at punchline.com. Real quick, we don't have much time, John. So you're making the move, or you made the move from L.A. to Detroit.
Yeah.
How's that going? Is it okay? You enjoying it?
Yeah, it's sell my house in California, and just posting up in Michigan for a second until I decide where I want to go, because I can live anywhere in the country that I want,
as long as there's an airport with a hub, right?
And I'm like, do I Airbnb it in every city? Because now divorced without kids, I'm kind of lawless in a sense. I can live anywhere, but it's almost too many decisions. Like, it's almost too much. Where, like, here's the world. I'm like, that's too many options.
What do you do with your stuff? I mean,
I got rid of almost everything I own.
Wow, really?
I have a small storage unit of just like Air Force One.
Was that liberating?
Oh, it's unbelievable. I couldn't recommend it more to people. Your stuff holds you back. It stresses you out. It has no meaning.
And I'm a hoarder, so I get it.
And listen, if you're a parent and you have older children, this is going to be hard for you to hear. Here's what you get your kids for one of their birthdays is a bonfire and burn all your stuff in front of your kids.
All of it.
Your kids don't want your stuff. I know you're thinking, yes, no, they don't. Leave them with love and education and how to be a good human. They don't want grandma's dresser. It smells like cigarettes.
I want you to go that nomad route. I like that.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the route I'm going to go. I'm thinking like Kung Fu. I'll just get a stick with a handkerchief with my clothes.
Absolutely.
And after I perform, like this weekend when I'm done with the Punchline, I just, Saturday late night, I just start walking. I look back at the marquee. They're changing the name to whoever's here next week. And I just start walking down Peach Street.
Cue the music.
Yeah, I just go. And then
you can do that while on a BMX bike. Either way.
I jump on the BMX bike. But hopefully somebody brings me a well-conditioned mongoose BMX. But I'm sure there's somebody out there who's got one in their garage. Your kids live in Wisconsin now. They're not coming back for it.
There's someone that has 15 of them is freaking out right now. I got to get these bikes to John.
I'll even buy you breakfast.
Tell the folks where we can find you on social media and all that good stuff.
Here's what you do. If you want to hear any of my new albums, because I have a brand new album coming out, just type in comedian John Heffron on Pandora or Spotify. Start that thing. On Instagram, it's comedian John. Just pretty much comedian John Heffron.
Beautiful.
I don't use Twitter because I don't feel like getting into political arguments.
That's a smart move.
Yeah.
Always good to see you, my friend.
Thank you so much.
News, weather, and traffic next. Hang tight. This is the Mark Arum Show.
This is Robert Wagner, and you're listening to that famous anti-dentite, Mark Arum.
He packed in animals 2 by 2, ox, a camel, and a kangaroo. Packed him in that ox so tight, I couldn't get no sleep that night. Rolling Stones, Jeff and Ham, tell them about that master plan. Oh, my Lord, Lord, Lord.
Welcome back, Friday edition of the Mark Arum Show. Been a long, exhausting week. Hope you have weekend plans. If you don't, Brittany Tannenbaum from Access Atlanta is going to tell us what you can or can't do. Full disclosure, Britt, I'm going to be sleeping and doing fantasy football drafts this weekend. So I'm sure
you're living the dream, man.
No, this is not a dream. I don't know whose dream this is, but I am so tired. So
I know.
I'm not going to do anything fun this weekend. Before we get to what is fun this weekend,
yes,
I was told by a little birdie that you had an interesting Uber experience.
I did. Last weekend, we went to the Braves game. My boyfriend and I went to the Braves game, and we got home kind of late. He realized that his phone was left in the Uber.
Oh, no.
And it was dead.
Okay.
So, like, no way for me to call his phone.
Sure.
And we didn't really know how to get in touch with the driver. Uber, I love Uber to death, but they make it very hard to get help. You know,
So,
there's no number.
Did you order the Uber on your phone or
So
he did?
he did.
Oh, that's tough. Okay,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. So they do have a little help center where you can choose what the issue was and that someone will email back with you. But we were basically getting nowhere with them. So they were just kind of going in circles of, you know, he has his email, Shake Shack email address and then his personal email address, and they just weren't getting anywhere with them. So I look at the list of issues that you have. You know, I left an item in my car. I had the wrong credit card payment, whatever. So I'm looking, I'm like, no one's getting back to us. I'm going to pick the most ridiculous issue on this list and see if it works for them to
So what
get
was the
back
most
to me.
ridiculous issue?
I had an animal in my car. My driver had an animal in their car.
Yeah.
Sure enough.
They get right back to you.
A few hours later, they get right back to
Yeah.
us and tell us the driver's name and the number and where we can contact him. So moral of the story is, if you lose something in with Uber or with your Uber driver, just say they had an animal in their car. They'll get right back to you.
That's hilarious. I once left, I've never done that, knock on wood, but once in New York City, I left my cell phone in a cab. And this is pre-smartphone. This was like flip phone days.
Mm-hmm.
That was gone. There's just no way getting it back.
It's the worst feeling. I mean, you feel empty, right? You feel just like naked without your phone.
Yeah.
And so we were so happy to get it back. Josh was going through this high and low of, you know, getting emails back from them. And then finally with the animal in the car, they get back to us with the number. And it was a good Sunday.
You must have been freaking out too.
A little bit.
Because I can imagine he's got very compromising pictures of Brittany on his phone.
I know, right? Right? Such crazy WSB pictures in my uniform and everything. So, you know.
So what is going on with you at Access Atlanta this weekend?
So we have so much going on. We've got the Southern Wing Showdown Festival. Actually, it's not really called the festival. It's just called the Southern Wing Showdown.
Is this chicken wings?
Yes.
Tell me
chicken
about
wings from the best places all over Atlanta. Definitely something to go check out. General admission is $55, but kids 10 and younger get in free with a paying adult.
What's $55 get you? I'm assuming some wings.
Yeah, so you can, there are 30 different kind of unique wing flavors from all different kinds of restaurants around Atlanta, and they're going to have beer and all different kinds of spirits while you just kind of like take wings from all different stations.
That's not bad. I know, right? I was saying I was going to sleep, but I might. When is that?
That is on August 25th. So what is that, Sunday? Yeah, I believe Sunday.
I might be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we got the hookup if you'd like to go. I know some people.
I might have to get in touch with you
that can get you in. Also, there's a German Beer Fest over at Woodruff Park, and that is on Saturday. It's the 16th annual German Beer Fest. Tons of samples of over 35 authentic German beer, music, lots of food vendors, games, and tickets for that are $35. All
right, so we got wings, we got beer.
We got wings,
anything
we got
for
beer.
The soul, anything culturally?
We do have some jazz on the lawn over at Callenwald
Look at you.
Fine Arts Center.
You have everything for every occasion.
Yes, tickets for that are $35, just like the Beer Fest. And you can bring a blanket, a picnic, get some jazz on the lawn, and impress your date. I feel like that would be an impressive.
That is a very take her to that deal, and then do the Wing Fest.
Yeah,
so you get the best of both worlds.
Like I'm doing both. I got like the arts, I got the music. Then we're gonna go drink beer.
I'm also a man of the people,
and
eating wings.
Right.
And don't leave your phone in the Uber, I guess would be the moral of the story.
Right, or just say that there was an animal in there and get it back pretty quickly.
I don't want you to get too involved in the chicken sandwich wars right now.
Oh my God, we were talking about this morning.
Have you had the Popeyes chicken sandwich yet?
I have not had it, but I was talking with Fred.
Yeah.
And he was explaining to Brian the Chick-fil-A history and then the Popeyes history. And then I asked him, I said, Fred, like, have you had the Popeye sandwich? I don't think he's had it yet. I know you have.
I have, yes.
And your thoughts on it?
I was blown away. And mine was 20 minutes old. So we sent a little bit to the store to bring it back.
Okay.
So it was 20 minutes after she picked it up, and it was still amazing. The thing is, though, listen, Chick-fil-A sandwich is incomparable. This is just a different kind of chicken sandwich. It's bigger. It's got a thicker breading on it. It's just it's a whole different animal. So they're both awesome, but the Popeyes lived up for the hype.
Okay, good to know. But I do think people were confused because Popeyes, it's a chicken fast food restaurant.
Chicken place, yeah.
And when I ask people, I'm like, I think people are confused because they say their answer to me is, well, they've always had chicken sandwiches.
Yeah.
Not true.
Not true at all.
Right.
It took them a long time to get on.
You need to explain to the people what's going on because I think that there's some confusion out there.
Someone told me off the air that Hank Aaron owns a bunch of Popeyes
He does.
chickens.
Wait.
You confirm that?
Churches.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's changed to Popeyes.
No,
I had
that's a different one.
friend of mine
Okay.
back in high school. His dad was his lawyer.
Yeah.
Might still be.
Yeah.
And so his job in high school was to go around to the different churches, order number ones, number
control.
twos. Yes, and make sure that they were giving him the right things. So he would pick me up on Saturdays and just say, "You hungry?" And I go, "Hell yeah, I'll come in the car and go eat some chicken at churches and make sure everyone's doing their job on a Saturday."
That's fantastic.
So, yeah.
All right.
So I don't know if he's still in the Popeyes game or if maybe he switched over to the Popeyes game, but I know he's been in the chicken game.
It was probably churches, and someone just told me the wrong info.
Got it.
All right. Well, listen, Brittany, we'll make sure you get a Popeyes chicken sandwich before you're on next week.
Please do.
I want your reaction. I was really blown away. The spice.
And how many pickles? Just 2 pickles? I'm like a big pickle.
No, there's a lot of pickles.
A lot of
and
pickles.
They're good pickles. So Chick-fil-A, I love the chicken sandwich, but I always get it without the pickles because I'm a pickle snob.
I'm an extra pickle person.
Yeah. So this had really good pickles, and there's a lot of them. It was really good. I'll hook you up this week.
Okay.
I got
Right.
you, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Everything's on WSB-TV.com. Social media, where can we find
at
you?
Accessatl, and for me at Britt Elise, BrittIlise.
Always a pleasure, darling.
Shabbat Shalom.
All right, thanks, Brittany. Now for our second, I believe, edition, Deb Green, of Time Zone Trivia.
That's right.
This is where I may get made to look like a fool because I don't know time zones at all. I know Atlanta's in the east, and I know LA's in the west, and I don't know any other time zone.
It's called Pacific.
Pacific, yeah, West Pacific, exactly. So time zone trivia.
All right.
I'm going to be taking on Chuck. Chuck is the defending champion. Will go first.
Because he's never played before.
Oh, yeah. Well, we did the next day.
We did
You got
the
it
next
right.
day.
Yeah.
I got it
All right. So this is basically Deb Green is going to name a city, and then Loti and I have to guess what time zone that city is in. All right. Go ahead, buddy.
Time Zone Trivia.
Okay, so first, wait, who starts? You're
Chuck's first.
Okay.
I'm first.
All right, this one's, I think it's easy. All right. First up, Tacoma, Washington.
Oh, that's Pacific time zone.
That's right.
All right.
All right, number 2, Mark, Cincinnati, Ohio.
They play in the National League Central,
I love your rationale here.
but they also play in the AFC North, right? Or is that Central? Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm going to say Central time zone.
That's Eastern.
Damn it. I'm so bad at this game. All right.
All right.
1-0, Chuck. Go ahead.
All right, Pensacola, Florida.
Ooh, Pensacola, Florida. It's East Coast. No. Ooh.
It voted Trump.
Ooh.
In
I was still
2016.
going to say it's in the Eastern time zone.
No, it's right
in
at the very tip of
the
Central. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, dang it.
It's in one of the middle
I
time zones.
talked myself out of
You
it.
should have just went with your gut.
I know.
All right, Mark, you ready?
I'm going to tie this puppy up. Yes.
All right, Yuma, Arizona.
Time zone trivia. Me against Loti. Yuma, Arizona. It's either West or Pacific, whatever the hell you guys call
Okay.
it, or Mountain.
Okay.
I'm going to go Western.
No.
Damn it.
First of all, it's Pacific.
Mountain.
But it's Mountain Time.
Damn
yes.
it. I'm so bad at this.
All right.
All right, Chuck, you're up. Time zone trivia continues.
All right, Charleston, West Virginia.
Ooh, that's going to be another one that's right on the edge. I'm going to still say that it's in the Eastern time
It
zone.
is Eastern Time Zone. Very
good.
good.
Job, Chuck. Good job.
All right, Mark, you ready?
It was a West Virginia. She's trying to throw you off, like thinking it's West.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right?
All right, go
All
ahead,
right.
buddy.
Duluth, Minnesota.
Duluth is on fire. Minnesota plays in the American League Central. I'm saying Central Time Zone.
That's right. Yeah. Central Time Zone.
There you go, buddy.
The Midwest is pretty much all in the Central Time Zone there. All right.
Except for freaking Cincinnati, Ohio. That's considered Midwest.
Oh, all right.
Fine. Go ahead.
All right.
Time Zone trivia.
Reno, Nevada.
Ooh, Reno, Nevada is going to be in... I think that's on the edge of the Mountain Time Zone.
It is not. It's Pacific.
It's Pacific.
Yeah, I would have totally guessed Mountain.
Yeah.
I know. Well, that's why I picked it.
We used to go down to Reno's for bowling.
Right there on the mountains.
I know, and it's right there on the...
Lake Tahoe.
It's like right there on the edge. I think
That's
if you go another couple minutes that way, it switches.
Shade Town. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. It's yeah.
All
right, I'm up. I get a chance to get in this thing.
All right. Casper, Wyoming.
Yeah, I'm going to get this one.
I've been to Cheyenne. Believe it or not, Chuck, I know you find that hard to believe.
I do find that hard to believe.
I ate a buffalo steak in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Nice.
Back in 2004. Mountain.
That's right.
Oh, nice.
I think the whole state, I think all of Wyoming is mountain.
It's a big state. I liked Wyoming a lot. I had fun out there.
Yeah. All right. Knoxville, Tennessee.
Oh, man. Damn, I should know this because my wife went to school there.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, when she went to UT.
She's yelling at you right now.
She probably is. I'm still going to say the East Coast.
You're right. Eastern Time Zone.
What's the score?
I don't know.
All right, score doesn't
I don't
matter.
have a pen.
All right, this is the final question then.
All right,
we gotta
final
get out of
one.
here.
All right. Des Moines, Iowa.
God bless that green. Iowa caucuses, corn.
Yeah, the corn.
Well, it's not Western or Pacific.
It's not Pacific.
Whatever you
It is not Pacific.
hoity-toity people call it,
The
Pacific.
correct time zone.
It's not Eastern, so it's one of the middle guys.
Okay.
Iowa, Ray Kinsella, Field of Dreams,
There's people
Central.
It is Central.
There you go.
I win time zone trivia. Probably not, but that's all right. All right, I did better this time.
I think Charlie won.
Yeah, Charlie definitely won. All right, that was fun.
Yeah,
Time
that
zone
was good.
trivia.
I like that.
We'll be right back. This is the Friday edition of The Mark Arum Show.
Mark Arum on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Welcome back. Final segment of the Friday edition of the Mark Arum Show. Fresh off my, I wasn't a butt whooping, Chuck. You beat me in time zone trivia. No. I'm just really bad at that.
Like, I think it's bad geography, right?
No.
You say you're good at geography.
I am good. Like, they didn't teach you time zones in college or in high school or in middle school. No, they taught us the state capitals and the War of 1812 and, you know.
And a map, right?
Yeah.
Just visualize the map is what I think.
I understand, but the time zones aren't written on the maps, are they? Not in Connecticut anyway. They didn't have, this is the middle. This is the central. This is the mountain. The West Coast.
Not the West Coast.
AKA the Pacific.
Didn't I beat you too the last time?
Yes. Yeah, all right. So that's who beat me. All right. So I'm 0-2.
Yeah, you're bad.
All right. We'll do this again next week. I'm going to study.
I thought I was worse at that.
No. I'm horrible.
Me and Chuck need to go against each other then next time.
Ooh.
All right.
You want to do a three-way?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm isolating that.
Longoria just cringed a little bit. All right, so we'll do that. So we got big shows next week. We are going to do Millennial Match Game. We have Little Sanjay, Johnny Kilbasa, the Fast Food Review, and we're going to debut a new segment called City Mouse, Country Mouse.
Oh, okay.
City Mouse, Country Mouse. It's fun. It'll be a fun segment. And does Alex Williams know this food? All right. He never does. Let's start the show, Longoria.
Are you guys ready for the Mark Arum star of the show?
I'm going to give half a star to Chuck for beating me in time zone trivia and half a star from Longoria because he's having to deal with all this podcast stuff. So, or one full star each. I don't know. However you want to work it. Don't worry. Anyway. Deb, I'll make it up for me and you next week.
No worries.
All right. On Twitter and Instagram at Mark Arum, Facebook Mark Arum WSB. In the meantime, go to sleep, little baby.
Go to sleep, you little baby. Guests of the Mark Arum Show stay at the All Suite Omni Hotel, located in the heart of Chicago's Magnificent Mile.